Welcome back to Homesteading with me, Rachel. I am in the kitchen today and I had a couple of things that I was going to do, and I thought, why don't I take you with me and film this so that you can see what I'm up to. I have some beetroot that came in our fruit and veg box. So I've got four sort of medium to large beetroot. And as much as my family like beetroot, I think the way we like it best is pickled. So like a pickled beetroot. So I'm going to cook these beetroot up and then pickle them, put them in a jar with a vinegar and spice mixture. So I'm kind of making it up a little. It's going to be just an all vinegar, and I might add a little bit of sugar, but not too much. I actually prefer mine a little bit on the tart side rather than the sweet side. A lot of the beetroot you can get in the cans, to me, are a little bit sweet. I prefer them a little less sweet. So that's what I'm going to do. And I don't know how much. I'm thinking, I don't know how many jars I'm going to get. Maybe a couple, possibly, but it's not going to do a huge amount. But I think it'll be enough to get us by for a little while. The other thing that I have been making, and I think I've already made it twice, and I really need to do it again today because I've got all these lemons, and they're starting to go a little bit soft, and they're going to go bad. So I got several bags of lemons from my dad, from his lemon tree, and also a few lime as well. And there possibly is a few limes in that bag still. And my friend also has this beautiful big old lemon tree in her backyard that has produced masses of lemons this year. She's also given me a bag of lemons. I've already made, like I said, 2 lots of lemon cordial out of it. And today I'm going to use up what's left to make another batch and show you how I do that. It's delicious. I like lemon cordial, like real lemon cordial that has a bit of tartness to it and it's not too sweet. And it's just so nice and refreshing. We're going into the warmer weather here. It's been fairly warm consistently in the last sort of several weeks, and fairly kind of humid as well, which is unusual for us. And so having a lovely cold glass of lemon cordial is just, it's delicious. So I'm going to make some more so I can use up these lemons and not let them go to waste. So to begin with, my beetroot, I've just given them a bit of a wash. I've got 4. And what I'm going to do is cook them in the Instant Pot in a pressure cooker. So I'm just going to pop them in. I've had a look online to see how long people cook them for, and it looks like probably about 20 minutes. So I'm going to try that, see how it goes. I may have to cook it for a little bit more if need be. Now, I do need to put some water in here because pressure cooking requires, I think you need to have at least a cup of water or liquid in it for it to create the pressure. So I'm going to put in a cup of water, and I've just set my beetroot in the bowl, and then I'm going to put it in my Instant Pot and cook it on high pressure for 20 minutes. So I'll just put the lid on. Pressure cook, 20 minutes. So I'll leave that be and let that cook, and I'll let it do a natural release as well. And then I'll check it and see if it's tender all the way through, and then I can slice it up and get it ready to put in my jars. Speaking of jars, I need to, I forgot about that step. I need to actually have a look at what jars I have and probably give them a good wash. So the dishwasher's nearly ready to go, so I might run them through the dishwasher so that they get a really good clean and sterilized, and I'll boil the lids on a pot in the stove to get them nice and clean and sterile. And yeah, and then we'll get our vinegar mixture ready once that's ready to go. But first, I am going to get ready to make the lemon cordial. So I'll be back in a moment. I'll just get my bits and pieces out and then I'll show you. It's really, really simple, this recipe, and fairly versatile so long as you keep the sort of sugar, water ratio and juice ratio the same. You can kind of play around with the type of juices that you use. I did try it with a grapefruit, pink grapefruit. We had a few pink grapefruit in our box. We're not really grapefruit fans, so I did try to make some cordial. It's still there. I don't think it's that nice. I feel like it lacks a bit of complexity of flavour. Maybe it should have been grapefruit and lemon, possibly, like put a bit of both, but the grapefruit on its own just didn't really, not enough taste, it just tastes sugary to me. Anyways, we're going to stick to lemon today and I'll show you how I make it. So I'm just going to go and get all my things together and I'll take you through how I make my lemon cordial. First, we need a bit of zest. So I'm going to zest some lemons and I'm going to put it directly in the pot because what I'm going to do is put the water and the sugar in the pot and put it on the stove to heat up and dissolve the sugar. But the lemon zest will help to infuse some flavour into that sugar solution. So I think it's about 5 lemons zested. Now I've got 2 different lemons here. These ones that I'm doing now, you can see they're actually almost like an orange colour. They're Maya lemon. That's what my dad grows, and they're a little bit sweeter than a regular lemon, I guess. And I found the last batch of lemon cordial that I made, I used just the regular lemons that are from my friend's tree. And I did find that it was a little bit tartar. So sort of, is that a word? Tart. It was more tart. It sort of had a little bit more of that really sort of lemon flavour to it, which is still nice. There's nothing wrong with that. But I did notice that the one that I did previously, that one's got a little bit of a blemish, so I'm going to leave that one. I used a lot of mostly sort of the lemons from my dad's tree, and it was probably just, had that little bit less tartness to it. Anyway, that's about 5, well, it's 6, but there were 2 small lemons. So I've just done all of the zest from those. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop my pot on the scales and I'm going to weigh out 500 grams of sugar. This recipe is really easy to remember because 500 grams of sugar, 500 grams of water, and 500 grams of juice. So easy one to remember. It's all just equal parts. And I guess because of that, if you had a bit less, so maybe you didn't have as many lemons, you could always cut that back and just do 1, as long as it's 1 to 1 to 1, then it should be fine. Just trying to get it to 500. Is that it? Then we'll do the water. It should be about 2 cups of water for 500 grams. That was exactly 500 grams. Now I've got a little something in there. Not sure what that is. Oh, it was a bit from the lemon, the little stem. Okay, so that's done now. I'm going to put this on the stove and I'm going to bring it to the boil, and it needs to boil for 30 minutes. So I'll wait till it gets to the boil, and by that stage the sugar, just giving it a bit of a stir, by that stage the sugar should be fairly dissolved, and then I just let it go on a sort of slow rolling boil for half an hour, and then I'll take it off the heat and we'll get the juice in. So I need 500, I'm hoping I'm going to get 500 mils or 2 cups of juice. These are really juicy lemons, and they are, they're a little soft because I have had them for a little while. That's why I really need to do something with them before they go bad. So they're actually very easy to juice. If you have lemons that maybe are not quite as soft and are a bit harder to juice, you can roll them on a hard surface like the bench top to sort of break up the fibres a little bit and help to get the juice out. Or I've also heard you can put them in the microwave. I don't know how long because I've never done it myself, but just to sort of soften it up a little bit and help to get the juice out. But I am not going to need to do that for any of these because they are extremely soft and juicy. So I'll just, as we go along, pour out the juice so I can sort of see where I'm up to. Ooh, and it's hard when I have taken the rind off these for the zest. So they are really, really soft and kind of a bit tricky to juice so they don't fall apart. All right. I actually think these are limes. I've got, oh, one's not very good. It looks like 2 limes that I can use. These aren't green. They're actually yellow on the outside, but they have a greenish tinge on the inside. I'm guessing it's just maybe the variety of lime, or I don't know if it's got something to do with the weather and the climate. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to put a few, there's 2 limes here, so I'm going to put 2 limes in as well. Okay, so that's coming to a nice boil. You can see all the lovely lemon rind floating around in there. We'll be infusing that with lots of flavour. So I'm going to set a timer and let that boil for 30 minutes, and then we'll come back and do the next step. Right, so timer has gone off and this has now been boiling for 30 minutes. I did come and stir it every once in a while because the zest sort of gets stuck to the sides. Now, can you see the colour of that now? That it's sort of cooked down and the zest has been able to infuse. It smells delicious in here, really, really nice. So now I'm going to get my juice. So I have 500 mils. And I'm going to pour that in. And the other thing I'm going to do is I picked some mint leaves from my mint plant. And I'm going to throw those in. You don't need to do this, but I like a little bit of mint flavour in my lemon cordial. So pop that in. And then what I'm going to do is put it back on the heat and bring that up to the boil. As soon as it gets to the boil, I'm going to turn it off, move it over, and then just leave it to cool. Now my beetroot has also, so it's actually been on pressure release for 15 minutes and, oh, it's actually ready. So we might open that up, I think, and let's have a look and see if they're cooked. Ooh. All right, I'll just pop that over in the sink. And, ooh, they look all right, but I'm just going to get a fork. Or actually, maybe I'll use this knife. I'll use this knife. Oh, they're cooked. Yeah, well and truly, even the big ones. Yep. All right, so I'm going to leave those to cool a little bit because my jars have just gone into the dishwasher. And then when they're ready, I can then make the vinegar solution. But for now, I'm just going to let this come to the boil, and then I'm going to leave this to fully cool before we strain it. So our cordial has now cooled. So what I need to do is strain it. I'm going to strain it into a jug, so then it's easier to pour into a bottle. This is an old vodka bottle, but perfect for cordial. Just one thing I wanted to add about this recipe. I've really only ever made one bottle at a time. I don't know that this would be the best recipe if you're looking at making lots of bottles of lemon cordial and wanting to store it long term. Really what I do is make one bottle, and you can see it does use up quite a few lemons. I make one bottle, but it's not able to be preserved in a way that it can be stored for a long period of time. One, because I haven't added citric acid, which a lot of recipes will call for citric acid, and I think that helps to increase the length of time you can store it and helps to preserve it. I figure there's lots of citric acid in the lemons anyway, and like I said, I'm not planning on storing it long term, so I leave that out. And also these, I'm just reusing a bottle. I've got this, the one that I'm drinking at the moment is just in an old wine bottle. They're perfect for things like cordial. The other thing you could use is you can get cordial in glass bottles or any kind of drink like that in a glass bottle. And if you just keep those, you could then use those for your own cordial. But this just has like one of those, I don't even know what that's made out of. Is it kind of like a aluminium or something? Screw top lid, so it's not gonna seal to be stored long term. So really what I do is I make a bottle and then we store it in a cool, dry, cool, dark place, I should say, in the pantry. And it's been fine. Mind you, we are drinking it fairly regularly, so it's not really sitting there for very long. If you wanted to make several bottles and you think it's going to, that you're going to store it for a longer period of time, you may need to keep it in the fridge to ensure that it doesn't, I don't know, I guess it could ferment possibly. But I've not had that problem because I sort of see this as making it as a short-term thing that we would drink in a shorter period of time. Otherwise, you know, I could store it in the fridge and it would last longer. So I just wanted to point that out there, that we're not making this to store in the pantry for like 6 months or more. It's really like we make it and then we drink it over the next month or so. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, nope, I don't think that's going to work. I think I'm going to have to, how did I do this last time? I think I poured it like this. I'm worried I'm going to make a mess though. Oh no, it's all good. I'm making a bit of a mess. So I'm straining out all of the lemon peel, the zest that I put in, and also the mint leaves. And then I need a funnel so I don't make a mess doing this. Here we go. So I'm going to put a funnel on there and pour it into my jar. Beautiful colour. I think also because I've used those Maya lemons, they have quite a rich, deep yellow colour. I think the zest from those helps as well with the colour. I did have a little taste before when it had cooled and it tastes beautiful. All right. Made a bit of a sticky mess. But you'll see that this pretty much makes a bottle. Okay, that's going to be a little bit more. I'll just keep this aside and we'll drink this first. But I think that's about a 750ml bottle, so it makes about a 750ml bottle of lemon cordial. So there we go. That's done. It is delicious. Take my word for it. Of course, if you don't like lemons, you're probably not going to like them. You could potentially also do this with oranges if you had lots of oranges and wanted to make an orange cordial. Like I said, I tried grapefruit. It wasn't quite as good as I had hoped, but the lemon has been really, really good. All right, so that's now done. The next thing I need to do is get my beetroot out because the dishwasher is done, and I'm going to, I'm not going to do that one too. Use a plate. My dishwasher's done, so my jars are ready. And I'm just going to peel these beetroot. And yes, I'm going to make a mess of my hands. If you really don't want purple hands or pink hands, then I would recommend, look at a mess here. I would recommend wearing some gloves. It's actually really easy to peel because it's all soft. In fact, I can probably just do it by hand, I think. Don't really need the peeler. Yeah. So I'm going to peel these. Then we're going to cut them up into slices. When you're pickling beetroot, I guess there's different ways that you can do it. You can slice it, or you could cut it into small kind of cubes or wedges. I like it sliced because we like to have beetroot in sandwiches. When we have burgers, I think that might be an Australian thing. I'm not sure that anyone else ever puts beetroot in their burgers, but we do here in Australia, and it's delicious. So if you don't, give it a try. All right, I'm just going to work through peeling these and trying not to make a mess. I have very pink fingers. Let's grab a knife over here. I'm trying not to use my wooden chopping board because it's going to stain it. So I'm just trying to do this on a plate. So I'm just slicing the beetroot, and like I said, if you want to do it in cubes or what have you, go ahead and do it like that. Now, because these beetroot are so nice and soft, it's quite easy to do. I'm just going to pull out a bowl so I can put the slices in, and I'm hoping that these are going to fit in my jars. One of the jars I have is fairly wide mouth, so I think those larger beetroots should be fine to go in there. And then I have a couple of narrower, smaller beetroot, and I think they should fit in the other jar that I have. I hope. Right, so these are my 2 jars. I'm going to pop these lids in a small pot on the stove with some water and just boil them. I'm not too concerned. I'm only making 2 jars, so I'll probably even keep them. Actually, I think that might be better over there. Probably going to keep them in the fridge. Anyway, I'll let that go. Then we'll get our pickling mixture. The recipe that I saw, I haven't made this for a while, so I can't remember what I did last time. The recipe I found in a preserving book has just straight vinegar. And you can add a little bit of sugar, which I may do if I'm going to do straight vinegar. But I'm just wondering whether I should add a little bit of water. Because when I pickle cucumbers, I can't remember what the ratio is, but there's a bit of vinegar and some water. And I don't know if just vinegar is going to be too much. So I'm just going to do a little bit of research. Not really prepared for this, but it was just a thing that's been on my mind and I decided to do. And I am only making 2 jars. So like I said, I can keep them in the fridge if I don't do it quite correctly. I'm still learning preserving. I've got a few things down pat, but some of these new things, there seems to be so many different recipes, it's hard to know what to do. But I'll be back in a moment and I'll just have a look and decide whether I'm going to do just vinegar or whether I'm going to add some water as well. All right. I had a look at a few recipes and it's a bit of both. I found some that do just vinegar and that's all, but a lot of them do 1 part vinegar, 1 part water, which is what I do with my, sorry, this is starting to boil, what I do with my pickled cucumbers. So I might just stick to the same. I think I'll stick to 1 part water, 1 part vinegar. I don't know how much I'm going to need because by the time I fill that, I don't think I'll need a lot. All right, so I'm going to do, let's start with a cup of each, maybe. Cup of vinegar and a cup of water. Very hard when I'm not, I'm sort of trying to guess how much I'm going to need. I'm going to go another half and half. So another half a cup and a half a cup. I'd rather have more than not enough. Another half a cup vinegar and half a cup of water. All right. I'm going to put a little bit of sugar in. Like I said, I don't like it very sweet, but with beetroot, it's probably nice to have a little bit of sugar. Maybe I might just put a tablespoon in, see how that tastes. And I'll keep some notes so I could see, what we like and what I would want to change next time. I'm also going to get a couple of other things to put in. I've got some dill. I love dill in pickles. I love dill pickled cucumbers, and it might sound weird, but I'm going to put dill in with my pickled beetroot as well. My grandmother on my dad's side is Polish, or was Polish. She's not with us anymore. And so I'm very influenced by the Polish way of doing, particularly pickling and preserving, and they do like to use dill. So I have picked some, but I'm going to grab a few other things that I'm going to put in just to put into the vinegar mixture as I'm boiling it. And then the other things, so the dill, and I also have some garlic, will go into the jar with the beetroot. So I'm not going to boil it into the vinegar. But some of the other spices I'll put in here while it's cooking. Okay, rightio. I've got some sugar. So I think I'll just put, I don't want too much, add a tablespoon of sugar, just to counteract the acidity a little bit. Then I've got some peppercorns, whole peppercorns. And again, I'm going to put these in, I don't know how many, but probably about a tablespoon too. Some fennel seeds. I like fennel seeds. I'll probably put a couple of teaspoons of that in. 1, 2. Some mustard seeds as well. But again, probably a couple of teaspoons of mustard seeds. We want to give it good flavour. And some salt. Might do a tablespoon of salt to match the sugar. All right, we're going to cook this on the stove now. Actually, these lids are done. I'm going to move them over. And we'll pop that on. I'm going to bring that to the boil. And in the meantime, while that's happening, I'm going to start filling my jars with the beetroot. Let's hope it fits. Now, the question is that going to fit? Oh, I think it will. Those large ones actually do fit into this wide mouth jar. I'm going to make sure the larger ones go in there. Now, in between, I'm just going to get some garlic and cut that up into some slices and put that in between the layers, as well as some dill. And then the vinegar solution will go and fill in all of the bits in between. So with the garlic, I'm just going to make some sort of thin slices. Now, I don't know that garlic is traditionally something that people put in beetroot, pickled beetroot. Oh, so I'll do some dill as well. But it is just how my dad always made it, so I'm kind of doing it the same as him. and his was very good. So, all right. I might do like a couple of pieces, then a little bit of garlic and some dill. I think that I've done quite well, and this is going to be, probably could have done with another slice on top, but that will be fine. We'll eat this one first. A little bit of garlic. I wasn't sure if the second one would actually fill. All right, they're ready to go. That vinegar solution is boiling now, so I'll let it boil for a little bit. Then we're going to pour it into here and then pop the lids on and seal it. Right, so boiled my vinegar solution. I've actually just breathed some in, and that's making me cough. And I'm going to pour this into the jars. Hoping I have enough. I think I will. Trying to get those peppercorns and mustard seeds in there as well, because as time goes on, I mean, I don't know how long this will last. It's only 2 jars, but as time goes on, I think by the looks of it, my original thought was right in that 1 cup of each would have been enough. But that's all right. Wipe that jar and put the lid on. Oh, it's hot. And we're going to just leave those to cool just here on the bench. And I think for best flavour, I would like them to sit for a while before we try them. But that's my pickled beetroot all done. Thank you so much for joining me in the kitchen. I've got a fair bit of mess now that I need to clean up. But that was a good day. I still got plenty of other things done while I was waiting for things to cool and cook and so on. So, doing those little jobs, using up some produce to pickle or to make cordial, is just something that I'll do throughout my day, but I still have time to do all the other things that I need to do. So thanks for joining me in the kitchen. I hope that was helpful. The lemon cordial recipe I will put onto my website, so you can go there and have a look at the ingredients. The pickled beetroot, probably not just yet. I'm still trying to perfect that. I don't know how this is going to turn out, so I'd rather try it a few times and see what recipe seems best, and of course what's safe. I've only done 2 jars, so I'm not too concerned about how long I can keep the beetroot for. I've jotted down some notes in my little notebook, so next time I make it, depending on how this turns out, I'll then make a decision about whether I need to change anything. If you want to know what it tastes like, the beetroot, and the new little experiment I made with some cauliflower, follow me on Instagram, just Homesteading with Rachel on Instagram, and I'll probably be sharing there. Have a look at my fingers. They are nice and pink and might stay that way until, I don't know, the next day or so, but just shows that I'm having fun in the kitchen. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and please like and subscribe if you enjoy this sort of content, and I will talk to you all next time.